All right, so we missed this in between shows. I don't know how we didn't bring it up, but recently, Dwayne Wade of Miami Heat fame, three-time champion Dwayne Wade, excuse me, and one-time scoring champion Dwayne Wade has bought a minority owner stake in the Utah Jazz.
Right.
And that's something I was, of course, that's what's up. I remember maybe about 10 years ago when there was a lot of different like rappers, athletes, not necessarily athletes, excuse me, but no, it was some athletes. They were getting into different sports. A couple of rappers, they were getting some ownership stake. Like Nelly got into the Bobcats for like 10%.
Right.
Usher got into Cleveland Cavaliers for like 10%. Serena and Venus.
I wouldn't even say they had that much. They really was getting like from 3 to 5.
3 to 5. All right. Okay. Really? I was being nice. I think Nelly did do 10% though. I think Nelly had 10. But Serena and Venus bought into the Dolphins along with some other players. So that's what's up. And of course, for the NBA, it's nice to see more Black ownership anyway, because that's what we need. We need more faces in office, especially in a city like Utah, where Dwayne Wade can kind of bring another perspective and help maybe generate a new crowd, because there's other cities close to Utah that can go to those games.
Right, true. So that's a good look for Dwayne Wade. I know everyone had the same thought when it happened. Utah, how does he end up in Utah? He's
right.
Miami Heat lifer. After he left, they was determined to make sure the relationship wasn't soured, and even Mickey Arison came out and was the Miami Heat owner was like he was kind of surprised, because I didn't know they actually offered Wade when he retired ownership stake, but he wasn't ready to do that at that time. But apparently he's built a strong relationship with Utah Jazz's owner. I don't know his name, so shout out to him. But shout out to Wade for doing that too. It would have been cool to see him with Miami. It makes sense for him to be with Miami. Right. I like him being in Utah, in a place that has racial issues, so they need a Black owner. Right. So you can change. Utah has dedicated, crazy, amazing fans, but they have racist fans, and that just is what it is. So it would be cool to see Wade to be in there and inject some of the culture he can bring from Miami, and just the culture as a Black man being an owner. As you said, we need more Black owners in the NBA and the WNBA overall.
That's
so
right,
WNBA, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. I'm sure neither one of those leagues have a Black owner. So shout out to Dwayne Wade and shout out to Utah. That's definitely a good look for him though. So that's what's up. I wonder if they're gonna affect, because remember Magic kind of pulled from doing commentary. Yeah, he's still been. But I mean, it just happened though. So I mean, I think by next season or whatever. Of course, he probably finish out the year, but I remember Magic he would make appearances still, but I remember him not doing as much when he was the Lakers had stake in the Lakers. So
you never know. And with that being said, I'm John W.
Fresh X.
And this is the Hoopers Morning Run. Speaking of ownership, this Anthony Edwards stuff is with him and A-Rod. Well, not him and A-Rod, but how people are going about it is crazy. Yeah. And we were just talking about it the other day, and it's totally possible for a 20-year-old kid from Atlanta to not know who A-Rod is.
Especially because I'm definitely probably getting the time wrong, but A-Rod would have retired with 2014, maybe 2013, sometime in that range. The Yankees won their last championship 2009. And if you remember the end of Alex Rodriguez's career, remember he got caught again doing performance enhancing drugs, so he got suspended, and then the Yankees kind of wanted him to go away. Yeah. But he was like, no, because y'all about to pay me my money. So like the end of his career, where Anthony Edwards would have even
been paying attention to sports.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been a thing. So not for real. So it's surprising because Alex Rodriguez is performing enhancing drugs or not. I still think he's one of the best baseball players ever. He's definitely not going to the Hall of Fame. But he wasn't.
Barry Bonds shit though.
Barry Bonds is different. He is the best baseball player.
It's not our show though.
It's not. But I just want to make sure that's how
that's not our show though. You're right. But yeah, so of course,
it's hilarious though. Anthony was really like. I believe him. He really don't know
because of course the thing about it, because he said he said he could go play. He could play in the pros if he wanted.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's already been on record saying he can play any sport. He's just an athlete.
Right. Like, but you got to
say hockey, tennis. He don't care.
It's in him.
Swimming.
It's in him. And then you got to think, honestly, growing up how he grew up, he probably just playing sports in the neighborhood. You're going to naturally be good.
Yeah.
Like
Anthony Edwards is I don't know how everyone else grew up, but he's real Atlanta. He's from Atlanta for real. And if you know us, the Hoopers, we're from Atlanta. And we grew up playing, even though, I played only organized basketball, played baseball once, but you grow up playing football in the streets, playing baseball in the streets. So you do touch all these sports. Like we play tennis. I mean, you do
play tennis right now.
Right.
Dropping.
Exactly. So you do touch all these sports. So it's not out. It's not crazy to me to think that he would be. But baseball is definitely different because you got the hand-eye coordination that you got to think about too. But just being an athlete, being able to move around the field, power, hitting the ball, I would bet money on NBA was making it to the league.
Right. But speaking of him as a pro athlete, but speaking of him as an NBA player, he's really been killing it lately.
Yeah, he has.
He's had a lot of 25+ point games over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
raising the scoring average. I think
he's about 18 a game
now. Yeah. I know the other night we finally got to see him, Cat, and D'Angelo Russell all on the court together.
Yeah,
they all had. I think they all had basically had 25 apiece. So in a win. So that's what you want to see. Maybe this kind of we can get them all healthy.
Right,
maybe they look better next year because them and the Houston Rockets are now eliminated from playoff contention, which isn't too surprising.
You could have wrote that day one for Minnesota.
But on the more positive news in the NBA, Steph Curry, who's been on absolute fire lately.
Yeah, he's on a crazy tear.
I think last week it was 4 teams that shot 33s, 4 players that shot. Yeah, it was 4 teams that shot 33s. Steph Curry was leading on those teams. It was him at 36, Orlando Magic at 33. And then I don't remember who the other 2 teams was, but it was like 32 and 31.
Hey, man, as I said over and over the last couple of weeks, the Golden State Warriors gave him and Steve Kerr the okay to make the playoffs. So,
right, because
he's turned it up.
Right, of course, he tied Kobe the night before the loss with 10 straight 30-point games and a 10 straight 30-point games in a row, excuse me. He had some 10-3, 7 straight 10 3-point made games.
Yeah. I think he had 4 straight of 7 overall, or something like that. Yeah.
And like you say, of course, we're almost at the end, so they're right there in the playoff game, right there in the play-in game. Like you said, they've clearly gotten permission to make the playoffs. How important is it for the Warriors to make the playoffs this year?
I think, and they're missing Wiseman for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah, he's done.
So Wiseman's done for the year, and Clay never stepped foot on the court this year, obviously. But
Draymond plays.
At the end of the day, with Steph becoming an older player, you want to take advantage of the years that he has left. And just with Steph being an elite player, you're never going to convince a healthy elite player that it's okay to miss the playoffs. So I think that Bob Myers should have actually done more this year to kind of put Steph in a better position. But I also will say they expected more out of some of the players that they added to the team. Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins. I know he's shooting career high percentage from the field, but he's also averaging 7 less points than they expected him to average this year. That just is what it is. He's at 17 a game.
They expect him to average 24?
Yeah, between 22 and 24 points per game, especially once Clay went down. You expect Andrew Wiggins to average between 22 and 24 points per game, and I stand on that.
But to his credit, he has been great defensively this year.
He's been okay defensively. I don't agree with great. I watched a couple. He probably got great statistics, but it's been some games I watched. I'll say this: he's going through stretches where he's played really well, and then he's going through stretches where I'm just like, Wiggins, they need more out of you. And that's just how I feel. I feel like if Wiggins I said coming into the season that I thought this was a chance for Wiggins to step up and have close to a career type year. Whether that's points per game, I mean, he's averaging a career high field goal percentage, or even taking the next step defensively. He's been better defensively. I do want to give him that credit. He has been better, but I think he still lacks over there. But
that's right. I think he lacks more offensively than defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. And then, as you said before, Kelly Oubre, I think he's been way more disappointing than Andrew Wiggins has. I mean, he at points earlier in the year, I was just wondering when they were going to trade him, like how long until they get off of his deal.
Yeah,
and so then it's the weird year not having a training camp, so you had the issues with Wiseman, and I believe he was in the COVID protocol earlier in the year. He's been hurt, and now he's out for the whole year. So it was some things they expected to happen that didn't happen. But I do think it's important for them to make the playoffs, and I thought that Bob Myers should have made some adjustments throughout the season so they're not working, because they're in the playoff game, but they're like 10th. So you lose a game and they can be out of it. So I don't think they did Steph justice. So I put that on Bob Myers. I put it on Wiggins. I put it on Oubre, and I put it on Draymond Green.
I put it on Steve Kerr a little bit too.
I put it on Steve Kerr also, but he got a coach of players that's on his team, and I've said since day one he has a G League team. So I put it on players a lot more But I also would say maybe Steve Kerr should have drew up more stuff. So I thought Steph should have led the league in scoring easily this year. Like he should have been shooting 25 shots a game. Like Steph, if you shoot less than 25 tonight, I'm not gonna play.
No, Steph shooting 25 shots, he might average 40.
Exactly. That's what this team needed, especially after the season went high.
Because they are 28 and 22 when he's in the lineup.
So you see how it goes and how certain people are playing. I would have definitely been like, all right, Steph, we need you about 22 to 25 shots a game.
Nah, I definitely agree. Yeah. And shout out to the president in the house. Of course, we were going to talk about it because I was, we're going to break up Trae Young, but we got to get to it now since he wanted to go ahead and throw it out there. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Unironically, we are rocking Knicks colors.
I did this on purpose.
You did that on purpose?
I did it on purpose. Yeah, I wore the orange for them on purpose. But I mean, this not their blue, but you know.
It's kind of
that is. Yeah. But I did it on purpose. Shout out to
shout out to the Knicks. Julius
and OT the other day.
Yeah, Julius Randle had another 40, 10, 6 game. As you said, you can't get up and get 40 because that's what he's gonna do.
Shout out to Jelani and What the Game Means to Me podcast. We were on there the other night, and I said 5 times key to victory will not let Julius Randle score 40 points because it comes with 10 rebounds. He finished with 11 and 6 assists. He had 6 assists. The Knicks won in overtime. Right. And he was a hooper of the night. I was saying hooper of the night was going to come from that game.
You definitely did. Definitely. And I'm not even going to talk about John Collins and his non-existent defense. I don't know. I'm just going to congratulate Julius Randle for how he's been playing all season, honestly. Like, this isn't something new or this isn't something he started after All-Star break. He's been the spearhead for the Knicks the whole entire season.
Yeah.
He's I know early on, everybody, for the most part, the popular vote for most improved player was Jeremy Grant. But Julius Randle, as his stellar players continued and the Knicks have continued to rise in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they're a 4th seed now. I don't know if they're going to catch
Milwaukee. Home court in the Garden, excuse me.
I think they're gonna allow a bunch of fans in there.
COVID over. COVID is over. Spike Lee's gonna come back courtside now. It's over.
Yeah, they're gonna allow a lot of fans in there, but they're right there in range of Milwaukee. I don't think they're gonna catch Milwaukee.
Milwaukee got a big win over Philly last night.
Definitely.
But
the Julius Randle has been playing amazing. He's definitely gonna get some MVP votes.
Yeah, I think that's.
I know the other night. I know a lot of people saying should he be in the top 3, top 5, top 7. I got him between 5 and 7, maybe 6. But Julius Randle has come a long way from his days as a Laker. Like we've seen him put up numbers with the Pelicans. Even last year with the Knicks, he had decent numbers. I know they're better now. Where do you see Julius Randle going from here? Like, do you expect this in the playoffs, and do you think he can elevate his play in the playoffs?
Right. And I want to shout out to Prez. His comment real quick. He did bully John Collins, and when I looked at them too, I just watching them play. It reminded me that John Collins is a younger player compared to Julius Randle.
Yeah.
And Julius Randle was basically sunning him out there. Like he was like, I'm a grown man and you still trying to figure this part out or whatever. So he definitely bullied him. But as far as Julius, I can always remember him getting drafted because the first thing happened when he got drafted, Kobe sent him a message on Twitter, RIP Kobe, saying, welcome home. So Kobe knew the type of player that he had the potential to be. And I believe he tore his ACL 8 games into his first season. And, starting off like that just always hurts everything. So then, he goes to New Orleans. You kind of see the talent in him. Julius, I've always seen the talent in Julius Randle from Kentucky. We always knew that he was going to be an all-star potential player. Like, I believe he averaged 22 last year or whatever.
20 in New Orleans.
Right.
In New Orleans.
So we always knew that he had the game. He had all-star potential. But this year, Tibbs has really kind of unlocked him, in my opinion. Tibbs has been good with bigs. If you can remember Joakim Noah's one year that he finished high MVP voting was with Tibbs or whatever. So I think Julius is showing us that he can be a consistent all-star player. And I said that I had him like 10th in MVP voting, but the more they win, the higher I move him up because the Knicks finishing with home court advantage this year is worth him being top 5 MVP voting, honestly, top definitely. 7. A couple of weeks ago, you asked, was he all-NBA? And I was like, is he all-NBA? I don't know. But since then, he scored 40 twice, 30s every other night. The Knicks are winning, and some luck comes into playing the season. Luck comes to win championship. You can listen to that from any player that's ever won a championship. You're going to have a little luck. But coming to the second half of the season, their schedule looks so tough that we were wondering were they even going to hold on to their playoff spot, and they've gotten stronger. So Julius Randle I can't say that I believe he's going to be an MVP candidate for sure going forward. But I think with the Knicks winning and him showing the player that he is, that'll make me as a free agent be like, yeah, I want to team up with Julius Randle because at the end of the day, he is averaging 6 assists, so he is passing the ball. Yep. He's being efficient. Yep. So it's room for another player to come in there specifically a point guard, come play with him. And that just continues to elevate. But I would say Julius Randle should be a part of the Knicks' future instead of them just thinking, let's just, gap year till we can get somebody else. I would want to add somebody with Julius Randle.
Right. I'm never I know me and you both feel as well. I'm never the advocate of players signing long contracts because they don't know how they're going to feel in 2 years.
Right.
But if I'm Julius Randle, I'm at least thinking 3 years.
I'll take a 3-year deal.
3-year, 4-year option with the fourth as an option.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely, if I'm the Knicks, there's no way I'm letting him walk. I'm not letting him walk. Like I said, I'm getting a point guard, somebody that's gonna make him and RJ Barrett's life easier because RJ Barrett, who I know you're not super high on RJ, but I know you do like him. I think RJ Barrett is gonna break him and Jamal Murray is gonna break the Canadian curse. Whereas like the players aren't as good as they were said to be. I think RJ Barrett, when he finally figures out his whole offensive package, is gonna be top 5 scoring per game every year type of player.
Right.
I think he's that type of player, honestly. Right. Especially off the wing. And I think that's what the Knicks need. And then find a point guard that can run that offense for him.
Right. But like
get Mitchell Robinson healthy. I think if they could get Mitch back for the playoffs, that would be. But I think he's there for the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his status is, but I definitely love Mitch as a player. But like you said, definitely want Julius Randle in my future plans. His price definitely just went up, so I don't know that. So I don't know if that changes because what you probably could have signed him for a 3-year deal in the offseason is definitely not what you about to sign him for once he gets these MVP votes and this All NBA.
Oh yeah, he's getting the max.
So someone's gonna give him the max, and that's where it kind of gets tricky.
Can the Knicks give him the max? I don't think the Knicks can give him the super max.
I'm not sure if the super max is in the cards for him with the Knicks, but I don't know that detail. But I just know his price just went up, so I don't know if that's going to affect what Leon Rose and Worldwide West are going to think about signing Julius in the future. But I mean, with this year, I don't think there's any heavy hitters in the free agency. No. So. Your best bet is getting him.
I think it's more like that class, like Lonzo is going to be like players like that.
Yeah, and Lonzo is a player that, has been thrown out there that they should consider. And I think they should consider Lonzo at a price, though, because Lonzo may get a big bag from certain places.
But the type of player he is, going for $20 million.
He's eligible for an extension in the offseason. So it's just a matter of what 4-year, $106 million. I will give him that deal.
Lonzo?
If that's Julius Randle, he is going to decline that. That's what's crazy. I would definitely offer him 4 years, $106 million. Probably I would want to give him up to maybe about 120, 130. After you start getting into 150, I start having nightmares.
Randle. Randle. We say that's for Randle.
Yeah, that's for Randle. I would definitely want him. I would definitely want him to have 4 years, $106 million. He definitely should decline.
But realistically, that's 25 plus.
That's not enough.
No, it's not. I'm not going
to be all NBA.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's enough. I'm just saying, that's already just any other player. I think Jeremy Grant, if he would have signed a 1-year deal, that's also the same offer he would have got for the season he put up.
Yeah, for this year. So
because basketball, unlike every other sport, they don't pay you by position. They pay you by experience and more so what numbers you're putting up and what awards and accolades you got so far.
But. And that's why his is gonna go up when you add that All NBA. Because he's going at this point. Is he even just All NBA third team? He might be second team. So
I think I think with Kawhi missing so many games, like he might get that second forward spot.
He might be All NBA second team. So he definitely should decline. But once we start getting into 150 million, I start thinking about Andrew Wiggins and Tobias Harris. Shout out to Tobias. He's having a great year, but Philly gave him way too much. I'm not gonna count his money. Shout out to that black man. For that, I wouldn't have gave him that bad. Yeah, so Knicks bring him back. Give him 130, and we'll call it fair from there.
Definitely 135.
That's fair.
135.
I just ain't going over $150 million. I'm sorry, 150 million scares me with
a lot of players.
A lot of players,
definitely. But speaking of injuries, Trae Young, who came out, the injury wasn't as bad. It was thought to be basically a high ankle sprain. So they said when he can return once swelling and discomfort goes away. And when he left the game, you saw it was a total difference. I think the Knicks after he left, end up winning like 60-32 or something like that.
Yeah, they went on like a 60-30 run when he was a 30-point difference.
And when it's stuff like that, because of course, it's just so hard to change because we was winning without him in the lineup recently because those players were expecting to play those minutes and be in those situations with Brandon Goodwin and Lou Williams, right, when that guard combo. And when you go down like that, I expect John Collins to step up.
Yeah. Collins was too busy getting babied by Julius.
Right. Bogdan now, who is a good playmaker, but sometimes he still needs plays made for him as well.
True.
Kevin Huerter isn't necessarily a playmaker. How do you think the Hawks need to address their backup point guard situation next year?
Yeah, for sure. They've tried a few things. Like last year, you brought Jeff Teague back. You signed Rondo in the offseason. Of course, Brandon Goodwin came up from our G League team. The Skyhawks, shout out to Brandon Goodwin.
Shout out to Chain.
Right, for sure. But honestly, having Lou there, I think, helps better than before because at least, and Lou's not a point guard, obviously we know, but him and Brandon kind of can replace Trey in one because Lou is going to score. He's been playing better since he came to Atlanta, and he's been on the court, which we just didn't get from Rondo.
Right.
Which, these situations why we signed Rondo at the beginning of the year, but, he played how he played and sometimes just didn't play at all. So we understand why we moved him for Lou. But I think knowing – because Trey having that ankle sprain, I'm not sure what the Hawks schedule is right now. I haven't looked at it. But I would definitely give him a few days off. So I would want to give the next 2 games at least to build some confidence in Brandon Goodwin and just keep getting Lou in rhythm as we get ready for the playoffs and just hold pack because now we're going to the playoffs, potentially playing the Knicks. We've gotten swept by them. So I would want them 2 players to feel, not Lou. Lou's a vet. He's going to be good. But I would want Brandon to be comfortable because they're going to need, you're going to need Brandon to spell Trey, even if it's just 15 minutes a game. Right. Maybe even here or there, 20 minutes a game. We got Skylar Mays too on the team. He hasn't played recently. He was hurt. I don't know if he came back. I just haven't seen him on the court recently or whatever. I really have given up on anything that has to do with Chris Dunn. I mean, at this point, does it even matter if he plays? You know what I mean? We're about to be in the playoffs in a couple of weeks. So it really doesn't matter. I don't think he really is going to provide anything to the team. So you really just got to expect Brandon Goodwin to step up. You got to expect Lou to just be the regular Lou, and then add some playmaking to Bogdan. And they, even though I personally hate it, they let the Hawks let Kevin Huerter do a little bit of ball handling. I think he should be strictly a shooter, but whatever. But put the ball in his hands a little bit, build a confidence for him, and then maybe hopefully, I'm not sure Cam Reddish's timeline, but I would want Cam back ASAP. And Cam could be.
You say DeAndre? I'm pretty sure you did.
No, Cam.
No, I'm saying that you.
Oh, no, I didn't say DeAndre. Yeah. So definitely need DeAndre, but as far as just ball handling, I would want Cam back because Cam can play the point.
No, yeah, he can. Yeah. And like I say, John Collins was kind of in the game this point. And that just shows you how much he still needs Trey in his offense. Whereas,
right, he
can get his own offense, but he still needs Trey to make his offense as well.
Right. It'll be a different team if it was just going through him with no Trey out there. And then, it's a tough match playing Julius Randle, but at the end of the day, one of my keys also was, John Collins trying to match Julius. So.
No, yeah, definitely. Philadelphia 76ers have taken a couple bad losses lately.
Yeah, Phoenix the other night.
Right, and then Milwaukee last night.
Which, two good teams.
Definitely. Phoenix second in the West, Milwaukee third in the East.
Right.
Philly's basically tied with Brooklyn going at right now the first spot.
Yeah, they got the tiebreaker.
If you're Philly, do you want to go into the playoffs kind of out of rhythm with these losses like this? You want to go in playing as best as possible. I know Joel Embiid is still putting up great numbers, but you want everybody going to the game playing their best, right?
Right, yeah. And Ben didn't play last night either. But you definitely want to go in there with everyone at least just feeling good, feeling healthy. You've had some ups and downs with Seth because he was playing so well, and then COVID just kind of killed his season. Honestly, he still chipped in and produced when he can, but he's definitely had some tougher nights that I just fully believe it had to do with COVID because everyone that's dealt with COVID this year, they're bounced back.
Yeah, I know Jason kind of say he's using that hella before every game.
Right. Like he's just now starting to get back to kind of normal, not just now, but the last couple of weeks or whatever. Yeah. So, but you want them to play well. I think that win last night was more important for Milwaukee than it was for Philly. So I don't look too much into it. but it was a win that Philly wanted to. They definitely wanted the game because they want to go in as the first seed, I believe. So, Phoenix is I also think that's a good win for Phoenix too. Just trying to continue to prove to themselves that they're a real contender,
right? Definitely,
or whatever. So, but Philly, they'll be okay. They'll be all right.
Right. Guess we gotta do the obligatory Luka Doncic talk. He had a big night in last night's victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. Dallas, of course, he was quoted a couple weeks ago. Him and Marquis was saying the playing game is stupid. What is it for? We played all these games. Dallas have seemed to pick up a little momentum since they've said that, trying to secure their spots in the playoffs. Do you think Dallas? I think that game put them a little bit closer to the Lakers. You think they can catch them for the 6th seed before LeBron come back?
Probably not. I'll still bet on the Lakers, especially Anthony Davis came back last night. He didn't really do much, but he's only going to get better. Dallas has been a weird team this year. The team is built kind of strange, and their team, they kind of complain a lot, which is not surprising that they complained about the play-in game. But whenever you got Luka, you got a chance. But, Porzingis has basically been out most of the season, was it for whatever reasons that there have been. So it's going to be tough to catch the Lakers, I believe, because even though LeBron has been out, the Lakers, and they just didn't completely fall apart, which is, you have to say, something
in that game. I think last night lost put them at 7-11 without LeBron.
Right, which is obviously is under 500, but you didn't have LeBron. You didn't have LeBron or Anthony Davis, and that's the record. That's not bad.
Still high on defense, a lot of defensive stats.
Right. So I would bet on the Lakers still holding that spot down.
Dallas, what if imagine they had playing the playing game?
That would be easy for them. It just what would be bad about it is now you go into the first round. That honestly would be bad for Phoenix, because if I'm the Phoenix, I don't want to play the Lakers in the first round. So I would want them. I would at least want to win a round and then get some confidence.
That's more than fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And with the end of the season approaching, of course, everybody's trying to put in their last minute big games for the award season. Say Steph has been going crazy. Jokic has been playing lights out. Joel Embiid. I know you don't have Steph in your top 3 MVP, do you?
No, I don't. The Warriors are terrible.
But as far as MVP going, do you think Jokic is kind of creating that space now between him and Joel Embiid?
Yeah, I honestly think he's probably gonna lock it up. Joel missing those weeks didn't take him out. I never was one of those people that thought it took him out, but I just thought that gave Jokic a chance to give him an edge, because playing the whole season just gave him an edge when y'all numbers are so close like that.
Right.
Philly got a little bit of edge with a little bit more wins, but their numbers are close to the same. Jokic is doing some. He's playing like Wilt Chamberlain, man. It's just that simple. He's doing some Wilt Chamberlain stuff, scoring, rebounding, and passing the ball. What other big man averaged 8 assists other than Wilt Chamberlain? He's doing some Wilt Chamberlain type of things out there. Jamal Murray's been gone for about a week or so now. They still haven't fallen apart or anything like that.
Better.
Right. So they're gonna be strong in the West. I think they're gonna miss Jamal Murray in the playoffs, but I think Jokic is gonna get MVP this year. Yeah. I think he deserves it too. He definitely deserves MVP. Denver, like you said, in 4th right now. They're probably not gonna get up to that 3rd spot. But when you just look at what he's doing, what they've been through this year, when they were struggling at the beginning of the year, he was the one kind of holding it together. He's had an MVP season. Shout out to it being 2 centers that's gonna finish in the top 2. That 3rd person, I would give it to Dame, honestly, but that could go to anybody. But I would go Dame, because Dame has held Portland down again while everyone was hurt again. He just does it every year. Steph, I got Steph in my top 10. I probably got him in 10th, the same position that the Warriors are in. But I don't got him as a series.
And that's how a player like Julius Randle kind of creeps into the top 3, because it's like,
who else is honestly
who else? Not who else is there, but who else is having a good season and the team is winning. Like, that's how you kind of creep up in there.
Right. Because when you think about people's MVP list, people have gone, James Harden was on the list. He definitely can't be your MVP candidate now. LeBron, he's not in the race no more.
KD.
Right. Kyrie, KD earlier in the year. Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul is on my list. People tried to sell Jimmy Butler. He just simply doesn't play enough basketball. So it's not far-fetched.
Paul George has to be on there somewhere.
Paul George does, but he also had his stretch in the middle of the season where he
right.
hit. So that's why he should finish in the top 10. But I couldn't think
No, I'm just saying he has to be. I don't think nobody has mentioned Paul George.
Right, and especially on his tear the last couple of weeks. I think this year, if Embiid wins it, not mad at it at all. I think that's a good look. But I think Jokic is the MVP. Right. Has the Denver Nuggets ever had an MVP? No disrespect to Alex English or Carmelo Anthony, but have the Nuggets ever had an MVP? So
I think off the top of my
head. That'd be 26, 11, and 8. He's averaging 9 assists basically. 26, 11, and 9. He's Wilt Chamberlain out there. Like, come on, man.
All right, and before we get out of here, I know it's a coach who hasn't really been thrown up in Coach of the Year. I seen the other day on NBA Twitter. His name should be mentioned more because of what he's doing for his team. But Monty Williams has to be a top 3 Coach of the Year candidate in my opinion.
I think he was my choice for Coach of the Year when we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago. But you got to, because we all expect the Phoenix to make the playoffs this year, compete for the playoffs for sure. Who expect them to be in second place? Kind of like the same argument for Tibbs. I think Monty, Tibbs, and Quinn Snyder should be the top 3. Utah's been so much better than everybody all year that if you give it to Quinn Snyder, I'm not mad at that at all. Right. I thought Utah would be in the play-in game this year, just to be real. I said at the beginning of the year they were going to either be really good or they were going to go the other way. We had the issues with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, so I didn't know how that was going to work out. So I thought it was going to go the other way. Well, it was reportedly, but Donovan did make it known that he was upset with him with the corona. So
I was thinking on all the other stuff.
He don't want
to play with him and all that stuff.
I don't believe none of that. But just knowing that he was upset with him and how he didn't take certain stuff seriously.
I was upset with Rudy Gobert.
So I didn't know how they were gonna go with that. Mike Conley had a tough year last year. So Quinn definitely deserved it. But
Mike Conley should be most improved player.
He was horrible last year.
He should be comeback player of the year because he was quite disappointing.
He was horrible, man.
He was an all-star.
His first all-star game this year, so you can take him off your list of best players and never make an all-star game.
He was never the best player to never make an all-star game.
He wasn't, but people can take him off their list now. But I probably would give my award to Monty just because Phoenix being up there is that's even more surprising to me than New York somehow. Mm-hmm. But Tibbs, Monty, Quinn, all are the right answer.
Right. And other than that, you got anything else for the people?
That's pretty much it. Just as always, shout out to the Off the Ball Network, the strongest network out there. Shout out to NBA Twitter.
The strongest Twitter out there.
Right.
After Black Twitter.
Exactly. And then, of course, appreciate everyone for watching every week. 9 a.m. we get up and get this run in. So as you know, you can catch us every Friday, on Off the Ball Network's Facebook page, the Hoopers YouTube page, and on the Hoopers Twitter page for the Hoopers Morning Run. Y'all know that's because you're watching it now. And then Monday and Fridays at 8 p.m. catch us on the Nothing But Net station on the Dash Radio app. Download the Dash Radio app in the Apple Store, your App Store, the Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps from. Get the Dash Radio app. Go to the Nothing But Net channel. You got the Hoopers on there. We're on there at 8 p.m. Our president has a show on there also, so it's you might as well just keep the app. Breaking the Game is on there. Off the Ball Network is also on the Nothing But Net station, so you might as well just get it and keep supporting us like y'all are doing. And other than that, and of course, with the International Professional Podcasters, anywhere podcasts are available. Shout out to the listeners worldwide. We're getting heavy play in Australia, heavy play in New Zealand, heavy play in London. We're in France, we're in Japan, we everywhere. So anywhere podcasts are available, download that, and that's all I got.
With that being said, I'm John W.
It's Fresh X.
And this was the Hoopers Morning Run.
Later, players.